Did you know that nearly 3/4 of people who own a DJI Mavic 3 end up swapping out the gimbal at least once in the first 2 years, usually because the original assembly gets nicked during a hard landing or just wears out from constant use? That might sound like a lot, but it's really just the price of keeping those smooth, buttery shots we all love. When a gimbal starts to wobble, the whole flying experience can feel off, especially if you're trying to capture steady footage of a moving subject or do a precise cinematic swoop. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been hanging out with this replacement gimbal for a few weeks now, and I've put it through the kind of routine that most of us DIY drone owners live with: quick swaps after a crash, routine cleaning, and the occasional upgrade before a big shoot. The first thing that stood out to me was how the texture feels in my hand. It's a bit like holding a high-grade silicone that still gives a solid grip, which means it doesn't slip even if you're wearing gloves for colder flights. The small and exquisite appearance also helps. It slides right into the Mavic 3's body without adding any bulk, so the drone keeps its sleek profile and you don't have to recalibrate the balance each time you reinstall it. One of the biggest practical benefits is durability. The manufacturer claims a long service life, and in my testing that holds up. I took the drone through a rough day of flying in a windy park, bumped the nose against a tree, and the gimbal survived the impact with just a faint scrape that didn't affect its performance. That kind of resilience is a huge time saver. No need to keep a spare on hand or rush to a repair shop after every minor accident. Another upside is the convenience of installing it. The fit is essentially plug and play. You line up the pins, click it in, and the drone powers up as if it's the original piece. I've swapped it out on a couple of occasions in under 5 minutes, which is great when you're chasing that golden hour lighting and can't afford long downtime. When it comes to actual footage, the performance upgrade is subtle but noticeable. The new assembly maintains smooth pan and tilt movements, which is essential for tracking moving subjects like wildlife or people in a crowd. For anyone who uses the PTZ, pan-tilt zoom, features to follow a runner or a skateboarder, the steadiness helps keep the subject in frame without jittery corrections. I used it on a recent family reunion video, and the kids' running scenes came out clean and fluid, something my older gimbal had started to struggle with after a few months of heavy use. The design also means the weight distribution stays balanced, so battery life isn't compromised, a concern if you're planning longer flights over a scenic landscape. If you're a content creator who often switches lenses or adds accessories, this gimbal's great workmanship shines through. The screws and connectors are solid, and the overall build feels like it could handle extra payloads without sagging. That opens up possibilities like mounting a small light or a ND filter without worrying about the center of gravity shifting too much. On a more everyday note, the aesthetic appeal of the tiny, well-crafted case means you won't feel like you've turned your high-end drone into a patched-up hobbyist rig. It still looks like a professional piece of equipment, which is a nice confidence boost when you're presenting your work to clients. Now, let's talk a little about the drawbacks. The main thing I'd point out is the price. While it's cheaper than sending the whole drone back for a factory repair, it still sits at a premium level compared to generic third-party gimbals. Also, because it's a direct replacement, you don't get any new features or upgrades. It's really just a solid rebuild of the original functionality. That said, for people who need reliability without changing the whole system, it's a reasonable trade-off. Overall, what I liked most about this assembly is the combination of durability, ease of installation, and the way it preserves the original flight dynamics of the Mavic 3. The small, sleek design means you won't have to rethink your setups, and the texture provides a secure grip that helps during those occasional rough landings. The one thing I'd tweak would be a lower price point or an optional kit with a few extra accessories to make it even more versatile. If you've been thinking about giving your Mavic 3 a fresh set of eyes, or just want a dependable backup for your next big shoot, the link is below. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next video.